Right. Thanks for coming. Last time in our game, it was all about goats. You were herding a herd of giant goats across the plains to Phandalin. Managed to avoid some wyverns, but got ambushed in your sleep by some ogres who kind of snacked on a lot of your goats. But you managed to kill / scare most of them off. And the reason you are in Phandalin is not only to deliver the giant goats, but they also need. But Leylon also needs some supplies. They're asking for a wagon full of supplies, some horses, and you got a special request from Father Marigold to get some holy water at one of the 2 shrines in the town. And hopefully the goats sell for a big profit, and will help Leylon develop more in the immediate future. So y'all got a long rest. As you wake up the next morning, Sally, you stayed watch, I assume, the rest of the night. No problems, no more ogres. You all awaken to nice sunny Phandalin morning. And you see the town right over the horizon. It shouldn't be more than an hour's walk.
Home is just over those hills.
So you also had a gnome named, is that Wigglehoof, I think?
Wiggledy piggledy.
Wiggly tough.
Wiggly tough. Let me just put you in the map. Might move the map because we're all done with it. Yeah, cute little gnome with you. She's
High on the hill was a lonely goat herd.
Hi, diddle hi.
But she's up the break of dawn. Like any good farmer. And she's brewing a pot of coffee over the fire. A slab of bacon.
Nice.
You start to wake up.
Sally wants to examine the coffee she's brewing for poisons. What do I roll?
Give me a nature check. What, you don't trust my coffee?
She vehemently shakes her head no.
It's been a secret Wigglehoof family recipe for generations.
Coffee. I enjoy my own warm beverage in the morning as I brew my tea. Make my tea.
Oh,
I drink
my coffee. I guarantee you'll prick you right up.
I'm sure I enjoy tea over coffee. I'm afraid can only be one.
No.
I put some sugar in a cup and I'd start stirring it with the tip of my tail because I'm cool like that.
I guess rolling a 10 means it looks like coffee.
Yeah.
I just take a cup of coffee and just go, yonk, and it's gone.
Sally, you sense some beans in there, but that seems kind of weird. But
That was some hot coffee.
Well, hot coffee's the best.
Have you ever tried cold coffee?
Never.
I've had iced tea before. I've made it very special. Well, actually, I tried making tea in a snowstorm a couple of years back, and I forgot about it and left it out. And when I came back the next day, it was frozen solid, and I could lick it. I called it iced tea.
Oh.
That sounds more like a tea sickle to me.
She goes, "Now that'll never work. Stupid idea."
I'm not trying to market it. I'm just saying it happened, and I'm likely the one who invented it, as I've never seen anybody else do it.
Well, I can see Phandalin off in the distance. You guys are... Well, some of you are from there, aren't you?
Sally nods in agreement.
We've been known to be around Phandalin once in a while.
We're known there.
Imagine you've been. It's taken like better part 2 weeks to herd these goats. You probably had told stories back and forth about your adventures in Phandalin. Now you slew Cryovane and all that stuff, and she goes, "Oh man, I've heard so much about the town members. I just can't wait to meet them and your old adventuring friends. Oh man, it's going to be so much fun."
Does Dart get on guard duty as we arrive?
Well, I think you said Dart took over the apple orchard.
You're right. That's why I did say that.
Yeah. So, after nearly a month away, you arrive once again in your old stomping grounds of Phandalin.
This is the second time that I've been here. Hasn't changed one bit since a month ago.
Sally is really excited to be back home and wants to eagerly see her father.
Yep, you walk into town like you did many times before for some of you after an adventure. And the town kind of remains unchanged. There's people going about their business. You see the familiar buildings around town as you enter. And you see a banner in front of the Stonehill Inn that says "Welcome home."
Aww.
Oh,
Oh. How'd they know we were on our way? It's a little shady. I checked my body for bugs.
But you find plenty of bugs.
I eat them.
Just
I think
the
so.
usual
Goes,
noise.
yeah, so Wigglehoof goes, "Okay, now that we're here, I'm gonna get the goats settled in the fields here." She pulls out a little list. It says here you're supposed to go to Barthen's Provisions, pick up some supplies, some carriages, some carts, and some horses to bring back to Leyland, and 3 casks of holy water for a Father Marigold.
Lemon, would you go handle getting the oil water?
Sure.
I shall join you because I have nothing else to do.
I guess Sally's gonna stick to the Miss Wigglehoof because she doesn't trust her one bit.
Then I guess I'll go get the provisions from Barthen.
So Sally, it's pretty uneventful for you. She's just with help of some farmhands.
Not
They're just
encouraged
herding the
here.
giant goats. They're just herding the giant goats into a giant pen or field, or whatever, with the gates, whatever they're called.
Mm.
She always looks back at you, saying, "What? They ain't doing nothing wrong."
Yeah. Sally is just staring at her, like doing that I'm watching you hand gesture every single time she turns around. Every single time.
So, as Lemon and Murook enter the town, you notice, which was common after the defeat of Cryovane, but you notice at the Town Master's Hall, doors are wide open. Kind of an unusual sight.
Really?
But you also see, at Stonehill Inn, once everyone heard the buying of goats, you see Thistle run out the front door of the Stonehill Inn, waving her hands. It's going, "They're back! They're back!"
I waved to the Thistle and be like, "Hey, yo!"
Woohoo!
It's always good to see the little.
And she runs into the middle of the town hall and gives your leg a hug.
I give her a pat on the head and say, "It's always good to see you."
I know it's only been a few weeks, but it seems like you guys been gone for years. It's just not exciting without adventurers around.
Well, sometimes a little unexciting. Sometimes a little normalcy is what is needed. But it's always it is what it is.
Well, there's not much. There's not much news going around town. Our old friend Dardagon took over the orchard when you guys left. Turned it into a cider plant, making his own cider. It's a big seller here at the inn.
More than mushroom tea? Mushroom wine?
Oddly enough, we haven't sold much of it. Mushroom wine since you left.
One wonders why.
That is odd.
Of course, mushroom wine's on the house for you. Yeah, but we see the Lizardfolk every so often. Do some trading. They seem to be doing pretty good. Oh, Mr. Varican's, his new shrine. It's doing great. That he's running with the elves.
They ever straightened out about which deity he was actually praying to?
Settled on Corellin. But like he's still wears those sunglasses, but he's not so crazy. I think he just likes sunlight. So that's why he keeps mentioning it all the time.
He has probably also tried to build a print shop or like something for scribes or something like that alongside of it for pamphlet production, which is probably where a big fellow gets his cards.
You moved up from sandwich board that you wear to a kiosk in town, in the center of town, with a bunch of brochures for the taking.
There's a little dog water dish next to the kiosk too, so people who are walking their pets can have a drink of water.
The perfect
Yeah,
advertising.
he bought an old printing press from a trader that passed by, and she goes,
A bloke named Guggenheim, I believe.
says, we have our own
History
our
joke.
own newspaper now. We have our own newspaper now because of him.
Phandalin Times. Huh.
Yeah, I was about to say it's called the Phandalin Times.
The Fandazette.
Does it contain much in it?
Town's pretty small, so not really. But whenever there's special events going on or anything worth a note, Varican makes sure we're letting all the town people know and just puts pamphlets everywhere on the walls of buildings, on people's horses, everywhere.
I imagine that Big Fellow has a Dear Abby column.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Corellin. Yeah, he has a Dear Corellin column. People write in advice or ask for miracles.
I feel something on my back, and I reach around and I pull it out. It's a pamphlet stuck to me.
Yeah,
Sneaky Durgar.
I remember what happened when he tried to offer his pamphlets in my forge. Took a while to snuff the fires out.
You should see Big Fellow's shop. It's been thriving ever since you left.
Is Sally within earshot of this?
Sure, you got bored of the goat herding.
Right. Sally nods in agreement. She wants to go see her dad.
Oh yeah, go ahead. He'll be happy to see you.
Right. Sally leaves her post and rushes towards the shop.
You see Big Fellow standing like a mannequin with this beautiful wedding dress on.
Ooh.
It's like pearl white,
Looking stylish as ever.
decorated with pink flowers. And as you get close, he kind of breaks his breaks his composure, and he goes, "Little one, you got my message."
And Sally reaches into a pocket and pulls out like an empty sleeve of where the business cards were kept, so showing that she got rid of all the business cards.
Up to the river.
Indeed, business has been great.
She points to her hat that's the cowboy hat, and that tells her dad that she loves cowboys now. It's the new thing. It's all the craze.
Kids these days with their cowboys and giant goats.
Sally requests a fake horse head for her mech suit.
I think you deserve it. I'm very proud of you. Little Sally's growing up.
You're leaking oil.
Yeah, I'm about to say a little bit of oil leaks out of one of his eyes.
It's gonna be like the Simpsons
goes,
where the robots cry and their head catches on fire and melts.
I appear to be leaking.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I appear to be leaking. Come, help father with maintenance.
Right. Sally helps with maintenance and then also uploads her memories to his head, so that way he knows everything that's happened on the journey.
He introduces you to
His wife.
I was about to say his new Iron Defender. What would his new Iron Defender be, Chris?
Oh,
A cat.
Ugh.
it could be a cat, or it could be another dog. But there's only one dog. There's one little man.
Yeah.
Perhaps a spider, because with like a sewing machine built into the butt.
Oh, sure.
And why not?
What will this name be? Hairy Legs?
I have no idea. I'm spitballing in my head right now what a good name would be.
The
Little
Silk-
Crawley.
Aragog.
Aragog, sure. Saying
It's
once
a big name. Such a big name for a small spider.
once we shave all those giant goats, Aragog here is gonna spin me a web of goat hair garments.
Sally's happy to have a new little brother.
And the Iron Defender spider starts making you a horse head for your little mech suit.
Is Sally disappointed because she thought it was going to be just a decapitated horse?
It's still a work in progress. It's a placeholder head for now.
Okay. I mean, did we not? We lost what 20 ghosts. Did we not find any head
It
remains?
was like 50 goats.
Ugh.
You start some.
It
you start
was
some dead
it was
ones.
50 out of 200, so we were 75% productive.
That's not great.
Hey, that's a
Considering
fancy
that
grade.
entire towns were decimated by a dragon not months ago, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay, that's fair. But we're the Phandalorians. We should have had a better ratio.
Well, you can't.
At least some of us are. Like
I mean-
Zorsashi.
Well, I mean, we can't let it get us down.
I personally
Well-
am not.
You can't let it get your goat.
True.
Uh,
I don't get it. Why would you get a goat? I mean, the flying wyverns almost got a goat. Trolls definitely got several
Yes,
goats.
yes. You're
Forget
right.
you're not
You're
from
right.
around
Yes,
here.
yes.
I see you.
No, I'm
you
not.
haven't been short on it. I see you haven't been short on adventures since leaving town. You have to tell
Yeah.
me all
Oh, no.
about it tonight. Listen,
Have you ever heard of a giant snail? Because we met
I've
one
never
and
s-
named him.
It's amazing. Well, tell you what, we're having a feast in your honor tonight. So after you're done with business in town, you come here to the inn, and we'll eat like you've never eaten before. Promise.
Hmm.
With silverware.
Silverware and everything.
Will Big Fellow still be wearing his dress?
So uncivilized, I eat with chopstick.
She says, "Well, we're a little understaffed actually. Do you know that Ander quit a few weeks ago?
What?
Why?
He just wanted something new. He's still in town. He's just working over at Barthen's. There's been a few new people in town. A couple anyway. Like over at the Lion Shield Cloister.
Well, is it a couple or a few?
You know,
It could be a few
One or two.
couples.
people always coming and going. We've had some new prospectors in town.
This is on a very major traveling area. This is a very good spot to stop if you are traveling
And now
a long
that-
ways. I
now
would know that.
dragon's not now that dragon's not a problem, there's all those orc raids no longer an issue. Yeah, Phandalin's growing. All thanks to you.
That's great to hear.
Sally gives a thumbs up.
At what point in our adventure had the mine been well underway? Had the mine and were there was a lot of activity at the mine, right? Like it is a miner's town.
Yeah,
I'm trying to kind of place Phandalin in what I know about the starter set.
Yeah, like the Wave Echo Cave. You know, we didn't deal with it in our
Sure.
adventure, but I don't know what the official timeline is, but they kind of take place around the same time.
Okay.
The
So the
glass
mining
staff is
business
still
is
in
booming.
the glass staff is still in the manor basement. Is just waiting, just waiting.
He's running low on food.
Just sitting with that exclamation mark over his head. They're bound to come for the subquest eventually.
Kind of got it. Kind of got it.
Yeah, but Ander, he doesn't work at the bar anymore. Works over at Barthen's. And like I said, the Lion Shield Cloister has a new employee. It's this elf woman, but she has this little army of kobolds that help her out. They're like, you ever seen a kobold? They're like the cutest little things.
They can be, yes.
Yeah.
They can also be quite vicious.
And
But
quite
they
clever.
used to-
Sally
What do
recounts
you
the
sh-
time that her father saw kobolds on the road.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
They have the squeaky little voice. They're adorable. But they tend to bite if you get too close.
Doesn't
Well,
sound
I mean-
very adorable.
Oh, that's. I mean,
You've
Well,
obviously never had cats.
Kobolds are basically
Yeah, but-
cats that worship dragons and can dig.
Yeah, but you know that Ander. You know how he has a thing for red-headed elves? She's a red-headed elf.
Oh.
Typical.
Yeah,
Typical,
that's.
huh?
Typical.
Well, I mean, it's his life. He can risk it if he wants.
Yeah, but he could do better.
Oh, I wonder who he could do it better with.
I just meant, you know, elves. They're all hoity-toity and everything, and so what else do you need in town here? Maybe we can help you out.
Sally looks a bit confused because she thought that Thistle and Murook were an item.
Oh, I see. No, that's not how it works. I'm not sure how to put this.
So this goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I believe we have a few errands to run. Last I remember, there was no proper temple in this village, in this little town. Where does one get to acquire holy water?
Oh.
well, I'm pretty sure we could ask Verican, or we could go to the Shrine of Luck.
Sally votes for going to see Uncle Verican.
Well, I guess you haven't heard.
Oh,
And she kind of points over to the shrine. Kind of walk over, and you see the shrine is just not in ruins, but like you can tell that someone went in there, kind of destroyed the place.
Did that?
You don't
someone.
know who did this. Happened a few days ago.
Wow. Someone's walking around with a big old pile of karma on their back. I would not want to be them.
Did that align with any of these new few or couple people coming into town?
It's normal visitors. They come and leave really quick though. It's been weird.
I walk over to the
town very long.
I walk over the shrine and I just hit my my gaze for detect magic, which I can do at will now. Just looking it over, see if there's anything of interest.
Say this: anybody who would dare defile a Shrine of Luck, well, that tends to be a self-solving problem.
You don't detect any magic.
I just walk back. I don't tell anybody what I was doing. I'll just do it myself. Keep it to myself. Then head back to the group.
I mean,
Does that mean
luckily, Mr. American Shrine. You won't mess with that one, but maybe because more people tend to that shrine, and the shrine the Shrine of Time War has been kind of abandoned. Well, not abandoned for a while, but the priestess who runs it hasn't been Phandalin for months.
You think there'll still be some holy water in the area?
Well, your best bet is to go over to Verican's Shrine, the Corellan Shrine. They're bound to have some holy water for you.
Sally wishes to go that way.
I am concerned about who would defile. Again, while I say it's a self-solving problem, I'm worried about the collateral such a self-solving problem tends to accrue.
I think anyone was hurt.
What I'm saying is, with the amount of bad luck that something like an action like that would give, I'm worried about what would happen to the people around the person who did this.
Oh, she is a goddess of luck, and they just defiled her shrine. Hope she doesn't. Oh my goodness! Hope she doesn't. An unlucky wrath befalls Phandalin.
Well, I don't think it was. Things like that don't tend to happen to the town. They tend to happen to the people who defiled it in the first place.
In essence.
And then they are usually used as object lessons as to why you don't do such things.
I think it still
We'll
could
get
be at least a good idea for us to try to.
But yes,
figure out who did it.
But yes, it would definitely be something we need to look into because, again,
If nothing,
when that
karma.
One.
I mean, I hope they get their comeuppance because
Oh,
Mr. Dardagon was really upset because he comes by every morning, tosses a piece of silver into the shrine, and
if there's
Yeah,
one
ever
thing
since
I
then,
can get, Yeah, there's one
Ever
thing I can
since then,
guarantee. I'm sorry, Gary.
I was just saying, like, ever since then, he says, every batch of apples he's tried to turn into cider has just turned out sour.
Oh, so he's turned it into vinegar.
Yeah,
Is that where vinegar comes from? Strange land.
Well, but as I said, these sort of problems tend to sort themselves out. But it's better if we find the person who did it and make sure that when it sorts itself out, other people aren't involved. Also, it's always a good idea to dissuade people from, messing with shrines. That's not kosher. I use that word. I don't know.
Let's head over to Varikin in the meantime as we figure out what our next thing is, because we do need to do a turnaround of this. We have a week's travel back to the other place.
Yeah,
Might as well get all the errands done as soon as possible so we can spend the rest of the time.
It probably won't
especially
be
with
as long.
a horse and a cart. The trip back won't be nearly as long.
Yeah.
That's true. Why didn't we just put all the 200 goats on a horse and cart?
Yeah, why not?
It's a great question.
But as you reach the shrine of Corellin, you see a number of elves kind of knelt in prayer. And near the front, you see Varikin in kind of priestly robes.
Sally hops off of her mech suit and then gives Varikin a big hug.
Well, that's just something
He
you
goes,
can hop off of, out of.
It's like the mech suit from the Tron Bond games.
from Mega Man X.
Yeah.
The ones that you just jump in and jump out of.
Or Wallace and Gromit with his robot pants.
Yes,
Or
exactly
like
that.
Or like that thing in Dark Cloud 2.
Yes.
Because we all played that.
Well, you should have. It's a really good game.
I heard great things about it.
Varikin kind of is startled, but he goes, "Oh, it's the little gold girl. I almost fireballed you."
She signs with her hands that she's been a good follower of Corellin and has been praying to the sun every day. She even looks at it. She likes looking at it when no one's looking at her.
So that's why her optics have been needing repair.
These elves have been saying it has nothing to do with the sun, but I think they're lying.
Yeah, they're lying. What do they know?
Well, I look at the sun every day for 5 minutes. With my sunglasses, of course. And I pray to the sun. All hail Corellin.
Mm-hmm. She puts her hands in the air and says, "Praise be."
That's interesting, Mr. Varikin, as I make my way there. I don't need to look at the sun to see it.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of
Want a
is.
pamphlet? Want to know
Sure.
about Corellin?
Sure, I take one.
He's great. I used to live underground, but now I don't.
I used to live across the land on the other side of the continent, but now I technically don't because I'm here. I'm not living there.
Yeah, I lived in a outhouse for a little bit, but then I killed a dragon. I helped kill a dragon.
Did they upgrade you to an in-house?
I have my own private toiletries here. That's right.
I can
I'm
see
sorry,
that
Bun.
you added
I'm
that
sorry,
to the
Bun,
pamphlet
for
here.
butchering
I
your
see.
character. I'm sorry, Bun, for butchering your character.
I know, he hasn't even said glory!
Oh yeah, that's right. Glory to Corellin.
Oh, here it's written. It's written in the pamphlet. Glory.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, by God, I forgot my own catchphrase. Thank you for reminding me.
Anyway, we are here for a bit of holy water. Are you able to prescribe us some of your finest water of the holiness?
He goes, "Oh yeah, I can do that."
I mean, will you?
You were actually handed some a sack of gold to pay for all these provisions.
Yeah.
You give him enough to for 3 veils, and as he's in
Vials.
between
Vials.
Vial. The eye is first.
Yeah. Veils is something else entirely.
You wear the holy water.
Right.
The veil of holy water.
Sorry.
But like in between blessing the water, he goes,
like,
"Yes. You hear what happened to the other shrine in town?
we
It was
did.
prime. It was prime pamphlet space, and now it's
Yeah.
just so you know, it wasn't us.
Insight check.
Sure.
19.
I think he's telling the truth.
I can't
No,
tell
it's-
from behind his sunglasses. I think he's telling the
Can't read his eyes.
truth.
I would feel that no, Verigan wouldn't even think of doing anything like that.
I mean, I as a player think that would happen, but this character has not met Verikin. I don't believe. I don't believe he was in the bar. Start of the campaign, or start of this version of the campaign.
Not true. I would say out loud. I don't think Verican would do something like that at all.
Oh,
Ever.
No,
We've
of
had
course
a-
not. Of course not.
No, there's no warring religions in this town. You get along pretty well.
Do you believe Corellin and who was the Shrine of Luck deity?
Timora.
Timora. I do believe they are compatible deities.
Oh,
Yeah,
have
I
you
think
seen
so.
Have you
Yeah.
seen like the priestess that was in that shrine? Because she's been missing apparently.
She was missing even when you were in town months ago.
That explains why I didn't see her.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. She's still missing.
Yeah, she's been. Yeah, they say she's a big shot over in Neverwinter. Doesn't have time for little old us. Maybe that's why our shrine's been so active. Not that it's a contest.
Oh,
Totally
maybe
gets a contest.
maybe
But he's
something
still
has
winning.
happened to her in Neverwinter.
Maybe.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's
here's your water.
Neverwinter's problem. Oh, thank you very much.
Don't spill it.
We shall do our best to make sure it gets where it needs to be.
For Father Marigold,
For Father,
right?
indeed.
Yeah, I heard he runs a shrine of a church of Lathander. Over in
Indeed. Indeed.
You
Makes
guys
a mighty-
just sound like you
makes
just
a
sound
mighty-
like God
makes-
book or something, and just have everybody in a chat.
We have travelers.
That's fair.
Travelers from Leyland come by every once in a while.
It's a very fine breakfast he does.
Or did you say at that new inn that's on the road? Wayside Inn?
Oh, yes.
I think so, yeah.
This is our first stop. Do you know anything about it?
In fact, we
I
ran
know.
into... Oh,
It wasn't open when I was with the Phandalorians.
we ran into a bit of trouble there with some undead.
Undead cultist zombie shadow things? I don't we didn't even,
No.
we should have probably followed up on that in hindsight.
Maybe on the way back. You're telling me there's more cult problems?
Oh, yeah,
I
we ran...
thought the world is at peace forever now.
Oh, yeah, we ran into the cult of Talos again.
He takes off his sunglasses. He goes, "My God."
They're very dilated.
Yeah. Cult of Talos, you say?
Indeed.
Never before have we met such a wicked enemy.
Preposterous.
They would seek to blot the sun from the sky with storm clouds and whatnot.
Cover the world with second darkness.
He looks up. He sees it's a clear day. He goes, "Oh, thank God."
I didn't say so they
Murook, you're-
succeeded.
Murook, you remembered when it rained for like 2 weeks straight here, right?
I can still feel the rain in my bones.
It was so muddy. Mud everywhere.
Just
Mud
like
in
these.
places you wouldn't want mud.
Well, if the cult is back, then stay in your guard. You ever see a half-orc? Probably a member of the cult of Talos.
Well, that's
Ah!
racist.
Yeah. Actually, we've run into some very nice non-Talos following half-orcs.
Well, you know what? To be
Hey.
fair, we didn't ask.
Yeah. Well, they still seem very nice and very
Loud.
very personable.
American goes, oh, okay, if you say so. Nothing to worry about.
I imagine that Verican respects Lathander since he's known as the Dawn Lord, but it's just the Dawn Lord, so he's not as good as Corellan because he's not the Afternoon Lord or Evening Lord.
Yeah.
But hey, breakfast.
Breakfast.
That is true.
Right.
The
That
bacon
also
lord.
reveals your vials of holy water.
That's
Where do you go next?
Well, I mean,
Um,
we guess need to go arrange for the
Barthen's provisions.
Warson's provisions.
Beat this redhead elf. No, that's just the Onder. Never mind.
I guess we could go see I guess we could go see Dartigan, but I think we'll do that after we go to get provisions.
I do enjoy
We're
a
better.
sour apple drink now and then.
Apple teeny.
No, what's that? Is that one of your favorite drinks that you make over in your lizard clan?
We don't drink much more than water, and
Oh, lightweights. I see.
well, what would lizard folk brew up? You know what? They probably make
Broth?
a lot of wine. They probably have wine.
Yeah.
They just have fruit that they let go bad.
As soon as you walk into Barthen's, he goes, if it isn't the Phandalorians, it's been too long. And some new friends.
Yes. Hello.
This is Zarashi. He comes from a very far off land.
Zorsashi. Murook
Zorsashi.
doesn't have the correct tongue muscles as a Loxodon to pronounce the various changes in diphthongs and enunciations.
And I'm Lemon. I've seen you around town back when I worked here, but I don't believe we ever spoke.
I remember you, the blacksmith, right?
Indeed.
We're
I
gonna
think
make
I may have made you some darts at some point.
Oh, that's not Dart. That's we're at Barthen's, I thought.
I thought we were talking to Dart again.
Who are
No,
we talking to, DM?
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
talking to Barthen.
I
There you
cancel that one.
go. Oh, hey, you're seeing people again, Lemon.
Yeah.
Dartion's in the corner, throwing darts. He just hangs out here now. Doesn't leave.
Just throws that bullseye.
Effort.
Bullseye. Bullseye.
Barthen's mouthing, "Help me!"
Sally shows a sign to the gentleman with that's just her name with an arrow pointing up to her.
Oh, Sally. She goes, I remember you, Sally. You're off on your own now, huh?
Sally like flexes her muscles cartoonishly. Even though like they're like they're like made out of metal, they somehow look really impressive.
A screw is loose and one falls off.
He looks over the list of things you need. He goes, well, I can give you most of the perishables here, but for the rest of you, you're going to have to head over to Lion Shield. They can provide you with a horse and cart.
Are there no
But
horse
I'll
and
get your
carts here?
order ready. No, you'll find that over the Lion Shield.
We might as
I'll get
well
your order
procure
ready.
that. Let's say we could procure that tomorrow, because I assume we're going to have a feast tonight.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
morning.
I wouldn't miss that. But should probably get started now. And he snaps his finger and he goes, Ander, stop your daydream and get out here. And you see the young man who used to work at the inn kind of clumsily make his way out. And he goes, sorry, Mr. Barthen. I was just I was working behind there, being busy.
Insight check on him. Yeah, he's probably working hard.
He kind of yawns.
So
yeah, work makes you proper
what
work
brought
makes
you-
a man tired.
What brought you here from the inn?
I
What's
just
your
need a little
story?
change is all. To be honest, pay hasn't been great there. Trying to earn enough to leave town someday.
Interesting.
Go out and have your own adventures.
I mean, that's why I left Tribor a while back, and what do you know it? I came in Phandalin right when dragons were attacking. But I was thinking maybe maybe head to Leyland someday.
No, it does seem like the action has moved to there.
New town, new opportunities,
Yeah.
Sally
You know-
Sally mentions that he could be a fisherman down there. It's a booming industry.
Construction. You can always use some more people working in construction.
Save up
You know-
a little first.
You know anything about this shrine being vandalized?
He goes, well, I don't really know anything about the shrines, why they've been vandalized, no?
Well, that's not very useful.
I mean, I haven't heard anything. I mean, I don't think that's, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think the boy would know anything.
Well, maybe he saw. He leaves work at night. Maybe he saw something. I don't know. Gotta ask people. Gather clues.
Isn't there a like
says,
police force in this town of some sort? Detective agency? Anything for, solving
Uh,
crimes?
Pretty sure we ran out. The force that was protecting, and then it became us, and then we went elsewhere.
we,
Oh,
Yeah,
so-
it seems like whatever guard we're going to come here went over to Leyland because they're more important, I guess. But
yeah.
you haven't been over to the Lion Shield Point Street yet, have you?
Not yet.
No, anything cool happening over there?
I was just wonder if Feline has mentioned me.
Oh,
Oh.
Do you want us
Uh,
to mention? Do you want us to say that you mentioned her?
He quickly says the exact opposite of what you probably expect him to say. He goes, "No, don't mention me. In fact, don't mention that I mentioned her. We actually haven't spoken."
Very well, very well. What if she asks if you mention her?
Pretend I'm not here.
Okay.
All right, we'll say that you're probably sleeping somewhere and not working.
No
Sally
hard-
tries
no
to
hard
let
work.
Sally lets Anders know that women love a guy who could fish.
I'll get to work on your order. See you at the feast tonight.
Indeed.
Hey, if you get it done really quickly, bring it over to Line Shield Coster. We might be there. And I walk out.
Ooh.
Well, it was good to see you, Ander. I hope things work out for you.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. You're out there still having adventures, but I'll be right behind you. I'm going to Leylon. Far away from here.
Well, just as long as you
There's no
like
problem.
fish.
There's no problems in Leylon, right? It's a pretty good.
Well, most of the town is rubble, so you might have to.
Rebuilding.
Indeed. So you might have to
Sanders-
help with that.
Since Anders decided to go to Leylon, Sally produces a business card and gives it to Anders because she promised her dad she'd give a business card to everyone who lives in Leylon.
Oh. Well, I'm not quite there yet, but one day. Barthen goes, "Okay, back to work, you." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's nobody else in here. Oh, I've already gone.
Well, I guess
So
that's.
you're back near the town square. You see a couple of giant goats have kind of gotten free. You see Wigglehoof trying to chase them.
I try and grab up one of the giant goats.
Ah, it's long gone. She goes,
I-
"Don't worry, I've got it."
I want
Do
to.
you want? I picked.
I want to roll
I-
handle handling to see if she got it.
Oh, she got it.
Okay, she got it.
Yeah. Lassos one of the goats. And hops on and starts riding it around. Gallops through town. It's awesome.
She looks like she has that well in hand.
Yeehaw!
I look over at Sally. Hey, look, that looks pretty cool. Does that look too suspicious to you?
Yes, it does.
Ready to go with that. Where to next?
I'm just waiting down the street, like one or two houses down.
Well, I mean, we could go visit Dardigan, but I think we saw him at the. Did we see him at? I guess we could go see Dardigan at his very new.
I wouldn't mind catching up with Dardigan.
It's a butterscotch
the
ranch,
orchard.
right?
No,
he's
he's at the-
orchard right around here.
Oh, okay.
But as you approach the little farmhouse, one of the hands says, "Oh, Mr. Gargon's very busy today, but he said he'll see you at the party tonight."
Yeah, send our regards.
Hey, you could give me your regards at the party tonight, because I'll be there.
Well, I mean, Mentioned we came by and said hey, and we'll see you, and that we'll see him at the party tonight.
Okay.
Come, let us go down to Lion Shield Coster and procure
yeah,
our
he
horse and
crosses
cart
each-
for tomorrow.
He tosses each of you an apple. We
I
call them darts here. Say, we want a bushel of darts?
How many are in a bushel?
Like a dozen.
hey, we could.
No, I'm just saying that's what we say. Instead of apples, we call them darts now.
Oh,
It's like a
So-
marketing thing. It's kind of his brand.
Oh, we could probably
by changing the name of the fauna.
Yes.
Does he still throw these darts?
He puts he draws bullseyes on every one of them. See, and he puts it over, and each one has a little dart, a little bullseye cut into it like a dartboard.
It's going places. That man is going to go places.
I guess we could. We could probably buy a couple of bushels of the darts and take them back to town.
Actually, they're he got some magic, and they're kind of just colored the apples a little bit so they have a bullseye look to them. They call them darts.
That was his original plan, was to just carve them in there, but it was too time consuming, so he
Yeah.
found magic.
Took too long. Yeah.
As I said,
I couldn't get a branding iron.
Have everyone make me a acrobatics check as he tosses each of you a dart.
can I do that with athletics?
You're going to strongly catch a dart? An apple?
Yes.
Yay.
Zorsashi, you miss yours. Lands on the ground. Pretty embarrassing.
I pick it up with I use my sword to kind of stab the ground to pick it up, or stab the apple to pick it up.
Hey,
Put it in my hand.
you tried to
Everyone
look.
else, though. Everyone else catches theirs, though, and he goes, haha, bullseye.
Zorsashi tried to catch it with his tail to look cool, but fumbled.
My tail doesn't have opposable thumbs or palms or any ability to catch things.
Does it have a spike?
Hey, I caught mine
No,
with my trunk.
Probably not. Yes, your trunk is different because it's in front of you.
I'd swing my tail in front of me. My tail's in front of me.
Oh, really? Catch this. I don't throw anything. He flinches.
Does he catch it?
He gets you. Does he catch nothing?
I throw him Eldritch Blast at him.
The hex is still active from the last time you put it on me.
Yeah.
I did not catch any. If you, I get it. Okay, you're right. It doesn't work.
But the Lion Shield Cloister.
Coster.
It's not where you. Cloister. You haven't.
Well, I
You didn't really
stuff.
visit much. You didn't really visit much when you were here, but it's where you would buy weapons and armors, stuff like that. And as you enter the building, you see a little kobold at the front desk. He goes, "Welcome to the Lion Shield Cloister. How may I help you?"
I look at the sign, and it looks like a kobold, painted in a little eye after the O. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Is it pronounced Coster?
As far as I'm aware, there's no I in it. Coster.
Cloister. Yeah, you're right. I just thought cloister was a word. I guess
You're
it's
probably
not.
thinking cloister.
Which is a
Yes.
church.
Cloister.
Yeah.
And oyster, which is not a church.
Oh, are we at the Lion Shield Oyster?
Yeah, it's a new family restaurant open up in town.
A really big one could be a shield.
Yeah. So, rewind. Welcome to the Lion Shield Coaster. How may I help you?
Costard.
Hello, little one. Can you read?
Sir.
Can you read? So I look over the provisions list that we were given.
Read very well.
Oh, okay, we need the ones that you have that aren't marked off here. I slide in the list.
Takes out a pair of glasses, but they're like human size. Tries to put them on. He goes, okay, that, okay, that. Yeah, I can't read.
Do you know how to is there anyone here who can read?
Another kobold hops onto the shelf. Hello!
Hi, can you read?
I can read several things.
Okay, can you read this? And I take the paper away from the other one and hold it up to the new one's face.
He goes, what in the nine hells is this? You can't read this.
No.
Give me. Is there someone here who can read?
Hello! Another kobold.
Is there someone here who's not a kobold that can read?
In
No.
Draconic, I say, you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the
I
good work.
like hit the look like I'm hitting the table, but I don't actually hit the table. But as soon as my hand gets close enough, it stops, and I use thaumaturgy to make a bell sound, like a desk bell. Ding, 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 ding,
3 more kobolds
ding.
pop up and they go, hello, hello, hello.
Maybe,
God.
maybe be a little more specific. Can any of them
from,
read common?
Oh, they go, oh no, can't read common. Draconic, we can read Draconic.
How big's our list? How long would it take to translate?
Could King Zyzzyx read off the list to them?
They understand common. I don't even.
Are we sure though? Are we really sure they understand common?
Excuse me, little Hus. Could we talk to your manager, please?
Okay.
No problem.
He became the Karen.
Oh, do you do it in like a racist way?
No, I say.
Roll for racism.
Do I really? How would I do that?
Well, you became
One
a
of the
Karen
other
when you asked for the
kobolds-
manager. They're naturally racist.
I
One of the
wasn't-
kobolds takes out a scrying crystal and goes, "Oh, I'm recording this."
I think a racism roll would probably be a animal handling based or a performance based charisma based animal handling check if you're dealing with kobolds.
Yeah, but one of the kobolds goes, "Oh, sure, I'll get Miss Greywind."
Oh, thank you very much.
No problem. I like you.
I look at the other like 7 kobolds and be like, so you know anything about that shrine?
He goes, "We don't leave the building unless we're on delivery." And
Yeah,
then
it's probably better. It's probably better that way. I turn back to
Miss
everybody else.
Miss Firecrow is always with us. We do what she says.
Now,
Is she
why
a dragon?
Why is that?
Because kobolds live to serve their masters, and our master is Mistress Valine Firecrow. She's so pretty.
How did she get in that position?
Saying she's just our mistress.
I'm asking you, Joey. Is that kind of typical of kobolds? Do they roll that way?
In this case, before you know kobolds, they're always seeking if they have a bastard to serve, then they're
Okay. I just am not. Brice doesn't know much about kobolds.
But a moment later, see the middle-aged woman who runs the line shield, Coaster.
Coster.
Like I said, Coster. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Listen,
It's all gonna be on YouTube, Joey. Everybody's gonna know.
it's hard.
That-
hard.
You say that, but he's going to be doing the editing, so all of this can just vanish in an instant.
Coster. Okay, I'm actually learning the Coster. Okay, Coaster would have.
He's gonna go back and just edit the word him saying Coster over every old.
Now, my good friend, Mr. Black.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Timestamped.
So, again, you haven't interacted with her much, but this woman runs the Coster,
There you go.
and she goes, "Oh, our assistants bothering you? I'm so sorry. They're good workers, but they don't have much social skills."
They were very nice and polite about it.
Eileen's a good worker, but she brought these lovely little creatures with her, saying they're practically family. Okay. How may I help you?
Yes, we have some supplies that we're picking up for Phandalin.
Well, first off, can you read?
I can read.
Okay, and I go on, Marduk. And I hold up
She looks at the list and goes, "This isn't abyssal." No. She goes.
I just throw my hands up.
She looks at the
Marduk.
She goes,
Okay.
"Oh yeah, no problem. It seems like most of these are mine supplies.
Zarashi.
Got some mine supplies for construction supplies for the workers in Leyland and some replacement armor."
You probably have plenty extra stone around here from all the leftover ruins.
Oh, that's a horrible thing that happened. A horrible thing.
Oh, that was like centuries ago.
Oh, I thought you meant the Shrine of Luck.
Well, I mean, that's horrible. But no, I was talking about all of the, I just point out the window towards just like the ruined brick walls over there. Do you know anything that happened? Do you know anything else about the whole Shrine of Luck thing? Heard that some vandals came and desecrated it in such a way?
Well, she goes, "That's for the ruins in town." I mean, when Phandalin was rebuilt, they didn't rebuild all of it, so there's still some
Yes,
unused
that's what I meant.
cottage space. Asking about the shrine. Sorry, I'm just reading here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all I know is this. One day it was in operation, the next day it was practically a pile of rubble.
What day was that?
Well, this must have been 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, so it's fairly recent.
Yeah.
And in those 2 or 3 days, all of Dardigan's apples darts they've gone sour?
Oh, well, he's a big Timora guy. It's probably just all in his head.
What is this young lady wearing?
Chainmail bikini.
Simple, a simple clothes.
And color of her hair red?
Oh no, this
The
isn't. This isn't Weiland. This is
I need.
Line.
Lenine. Don't get
Lenine.
confused.
She goes, "If you're looking for for Weiland. She's running some chores right now with a couple of her kobolds. Should be back. Should be back by the for the celebration tonight.
Well, that's good.
Indeed.
And I'm sure those kobolds will protect her in case if she's out and about.
Oh, are they?
She
Yeah.
I hope these little ones listen to me while she's not around. Okay. Okay, little friends. Here's what we need. And she gives them a list of
No, we tried that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they just can't read. They understand.
Oh, you're giving a list orally.
Or yes.
Okay.
They go, no problem. And they all head off in the back and start gathering the things. Well, you also need a cart and horses. Well, I have the horse.
Well, you shouldn't put
The horses for you. But Halia over at the Miners Exchange basically bought up all the carts. She says she needs them for to bring to the mines and back. But I kind of left the rest of us, renting it from her. It's all a big scam. You ask me. But
So
if
she
you
put.
need a cart. If you need a cart, you have to go see her.
So we put the. So she put the cart. She put her carts before the horses.
She has her own horses.
So the cards came second then, so.
Yeah.
Right.
You could probably build more carts and not have to
Keep just swapping the same one.
yeah.
It takes time to build a cart, and we need one tomorrow.
And they have several kobolds. All right. Look, we'll go. It's not our money anyway. We'll go get a cart from the miner exchange.
You would be surprised as to how complex an axle is.
That would be my foley.
Halia, who runs the Miners Exchange here in town, also was kind of in cahoots with the Stone Cold Reavers in a way. Kind of her and Helia's plot to kind of quietly gain control of the town, but she's stayed kind of separated from it politically.
Well, considering the Coldstone Reavers are no longer an issue, they are a solved problem.
And she greets you, if you can call it a greeting, as you enter the building. She goes, well, the prodigal son returns. The prodigal lizard, elephant, whatever you are, and points to Sally.
Sally
What
writes
did you
down
do,
cowboy.
Of course, cowboy. And got some new friends, I see. Just as weird as the other ones.
With that, I immediately turn on the detect magic, and looking all around the room. Anything I see that's magical, I want to know.
Charmed.
I'm getting bad vibes from her immediately.
Well, I don't think I need an insight check to know she don't like us.
You see outline of a sending stone in a drawer.
I will keep that to myself. But thank you.
Well, are you here looking for work? Exchange some gems for gold? What do you need?
We're actually in the market for a cart, and apparently you have bought up all of them in town.
Well, business is booming, thanks to you.
Hey, rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah, well, I would charge you our arm and leg, but I'm kind of restricted by company prices here, and she gives you perfectly reasonable price to rent the carts.
Sally tries to haggle.
I know it's too early for haggling. No haggling. Is what it is.
We
So,
we graciously accept the offer.
looks at Murook and Zyzzyx. You're errand voids now, huh?
We are what we need to be at the time.
I just stare at her, and then look around the room and other things. Don't answer.
I guess there's no dragons to kill, huh?
Not that we've seen, but you know, the day is early. Actually, the day's getting,
Cults?
so to speak.
Any cults?
Oh, yeah, we ran back into the cult of Talos again.
She goes, well, I'm not surprised.
Well, I'll be honest, neither are we. Cults like this seem to pop up whenever you look away.
She goes, they can be anywhere.
That they can.
I look around for any of those Talos symbols, see if maybe I can see one poking out from somewhere.
And I would like to roll for insight because I've got
Three
Yes.
lightning bolts striking a single point.
So Zyzzyx roll investigation. Murook roll, but
Yeah.
he says you just start looking at some cracks in the wall.
Okay.
You're like,
Yeah.
well, those kind of look like 3 lightning bolts. In Murook, you're like she's trying to imply something.
She is trying to imply something, but I'm not quite picking up.
She's not hiding it, though.
She's not hiding it, but I'm still not quite picking up what she's putting down.
Something tells me you have a history.
While all of them are being suspicious and snooping around the place, Sally fills out the documentation for the cart.
Yep, absolutely nothing wrong with this one, unlike that goat person.
Well, this is an enemy she's familiar with. She's seen her before.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows at the end of the day, if it's not profitable, she won't go.
Our little Ferengi.
All I'm saying is, I have eyes and ears.
One would hope.
Around town.
She has eyes and ears around town. Gross.
Yeah, I know. I know Sally took that literal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can stop looking at the wall now. You're not going to find any occult memorabilia in here.
Don't know what I'm looking for. Give her a stink eye. Yeah, better stink eye than I expected.
You just wink at her by accident.
Ugh.
Trust me, that's from a Lizardfolk though. That's a good stink eye.
It's vertical.
You literally give her an eye that you carry around that smells bad.
Oh, any eye I'm carrying around would not smell good, I'm sure.
Well, 2 carts in the back, 2 or 3 carts. yours to take. And
We shall collect them in the morning.
if you want to play, I'll let the others will know to bring them here. Bring their
Sorry,
supplies
I'm
here.
not sure about that.
Yeah, thank you.
Siri,
Roll
gather
for
the carts.
We'll make sure everything's in order. For I live to serve the heroes of Phandalin.
No insight check needed.
And their new friends. Don't forget their new friends.
Wow.
We'll see about you. We'll see about you new people.
Oh, I see everything. I just start walking out.
I mean, I can see. I can respect slaying a dragon. We'll see what the rest of you are worth someday.
Stop the door, let her finish saying that, and then... Or you may not, and I just leave.
I'm just a blacksmith myself, but it was a pleasure to meet you, ma'am.
You seem all right. Something about you.
Gives a polite bow before leaving.
Let's just say I like people who can keep secrets.
Sally gives her dart to the mean lady.
Oh, it's one of those gimmick apples. Thank you. She throws it over her shoulder to a wall. They taste horrible. Have you had one yet? They're awful. The magic did something to them.
I take one out and I take a bite out of it.
It tastes bad, but it's like an apple, but not an apple. It's like if they added another flavor to an apple.
Tastes like pear.
It's a pear.
It's a crapple.
It's a green apple.
Crapple.
That is not a good apple.
Oh, right. Mr. Murook, I think this is the first thing we ever agreed on.
Strange days indeed.
Ironically, though, that makes a great cider.
Yeah, I can actually see that. I would actually no. Yeah, after fermenting, maybe it would.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but as it, just eating it as is, no. I suddenly have a craving for mushroom wine because just to get this taste out of my mind. But I can wait to.
Oh, go ahead.
As I said, but well, as we leave, I just start kind of I just kind of look at the apple like, what did he do to this? I guess I hand it over to Zyzzyx. What do you think he did to this?
I sniff it.
Right.
Do I give me a nature or arcana check?
Nature is my stronger suit.
You think he kind of probably somehow like merged two fruits together to make the special pattern?
Gotcha. I tell Murook I think he pooped on it.
Each one, personally.
No,
Fertilizers, Zyzzyx. We know that you're not familiar with agriculture. And granted, that's not how trees generally grow, but still.
I share that this
Fertilizer.
definitely was not a naturally occurring, from what I can tell, this crop was not a natural occurrence.
I mean, I could have, considering how that tasted, yeah, I could fully, yeah, that fully clocks.
Some sort of special plant splicing, perhaps.
I mean, it was like someone shoved an apple inside of a. Well, I can't really figure out what that second flavor is, but I'll know
That's
it.
the poop.
No, it some sort of. It is some sort of other
Coconut.
plant. I don't know, mate, but I just can't figure out what it is.
Coconut.
It's-
As you
said-
leave the what?
I was gonna say the first thing you mentioned was like apple and pear, and then you said apple coconut. Both of those don't sound terrible mixtures.
I mean-
Yeah, they're probably pretty good.
Yeah.
It's,
Maybe
I mean, it.
What part of the coconut? Like, is it the rind, or is it the shell?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
The tree.
Oh no, it's raisin.
oh, so it'd be apple grape
A grapple.
grapple.
Yeah, as you're
Restrain
debating what
yourself
this,
from eating it.
yeah, you're debating what this tastes like as you walk back into town, and as you cross by the Lion Shield Coster,
Nice.
you see a red-haired woman kind of approach the building, and a bunch of kobolds kind of gathering around her, just going, "Mistress, you're back. You've returned." Like a tugging at her skirt. Happy to see her. Oh, little ones, I miss you too. I hear we have a job to complete, so everyone, hop to work with you all. I'll be there momentarily.
Sally's immediately in love. This woman is amazing.
She kind of like turns around, enter the building, and her hair just perfectly catches the wind.
Whoa.
She turns, it's just amazing looking. She flashes you her bright green eyes, gives you a smile, and walks into the building.
Sally vows then and there she will have that head of hair.
How many kobolds in tow?
Not the rest of it, just the hair.
Sally,
Saw about 7 kobolds.
Doc, Sleepy, Grumpy, Reginald,
Scaly.
Scaly.
You know, statistically speaking, 1 out of 7 dwarves is actually happy.
Where to?
well,
I guess to the supplies and then
Well-
also to our feast.
well, I mean, we've done the supply. We've done the supplies. It's just at this point, we might as well just head on to the end. I guess we could go see what's going on in the town master's hall since it's open for the
I don't
first
like
time.
the guy.
Yeah, but
It is kind of
maybe
strange,
He's doing something stupid that we can make fun of.
but it is kind of strange that it's open.
Let's go. Let's just check it out. Who's with me?
Sally's with you.
I've got nowhere else to go, so why not? Why not?
Lemon's looking a little confused as to why you want to make fun of him, or why it's strange his doors are open, but follows up anyway.
I quickly take him aside and explain to him what kind of person the town master is and how he treated us when the first time we were like a good chunk of the time that we were here.
I only met him when getting the permit to open my smithy, but didn't seem that bad a person when I met him.
Well, apparently you were lucky.
Mind you, I was giving him an entire gold piece for it.
Yes, you
Yeah,
were.
he is pretty happy when he's got gold.
Me- Yeah, you were giving him money. We were getting money from him. It's the 2 vastly different attitudes to that.
Town Master's Hall. You pass by the quest board that
Anything new on
give
that?
you so much entertainment. Previous adventures. It just says something about vandalism at the shrine,
Okay.
and you'll see a missing persons page on there.
Hmm.
You want any name or photo drawing I recognize?
It just seems to be. It says he was a visitor, spent some time in town, and that looked like he was going to stay, but he just kind of disappeared overnight. It says
You know,
he could
the-
have just left.
Were they human?
But,
Do we know the race? Does it say the race?
Drifter.
Yeah, it looks like a human man named
Human man.
Human, sir.
Who put it up? Does
He's like-
it say who we should report information to?
Yeah, it just does like if you know any information, go see Harbin Wester, the town master.
Okay.
Oh, well.
But it says like he seemed to be a new arrival in town, to be a prospector, but seemed to have disappeared. Some people think he just left, but some people think it might have been I don't know. Don't know what happened to him.
I get what does it say exactly about the shrine?
Just says there was a vandalism. If anyone knows any information, please report to Harbin Wester.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye and an ear out. But then I guess it's time to go meet the man himself and see how life has been treating him since we've been gone.
See him counting coins in his in the building. He looks a lot less stressed out than he did when there was constant orc and dragon attacks.
Greetings, Harbin. It's good to see you It's good to see you not on the other side of a door.
Oh well, it's Phandalorians back in town. Heard you were coming.
Sally asks if there's any word from his half brother at the wood mill.
Oh yes. I suppose thanks to you, he's no more Akinid problems. Back in business. Got to get all new workers.
Oh yeah, that would happen if they were all eaten by,
I do tell you though, giving away a lot less money now that you guys are in town. Aren't in town. I can tell you that much.
Giving, you mean paying for well-rendered services?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
Yes.
We don't do labor for free.
Nor would I expect you to. So what brings you in town?
Well, we brought some goats to sell.
Oh, yes. Everyone's been talking about them all week about how they're getting the goats.
We got most of them.
And then we're buying some supplies and taking them back to Weiland.
Leylon.
Weiland.
Hope you didn't run any problems.
No, everything went rather smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, there were the ogres and the wyverns, and that one night that you had an
Wyverns?
upset stomach. And what? I'm sorry.
No.
This is what?
No.
He starts hyperventilating.
No. Okay, no. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay.
Fine. Okay.
Everything's going to be.
Okay.
We took care.
It's handled.
It's handled. It's handled.
Okay. I'm dealing with some stuff.
I mean, that
No,
was,
man.
to be fair, closer to the to Leyline and not near here. So don't have to worry about it.
At least a day away.
At
This
least
is-
As the crow flies.
by foot. if they would walk.
Listen, I'm been dealing with my own problems. I mean, you probably seen the shrine, Time Morris Shrine.
Did you
I
do
know.
it?
Yeah, I was about. I even mentioned it that anybody who messes with a shrine like that, well, that tends to be a self-solving problem. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. What do you know? Where were you on the night of the shrine's disappearance?
Says I was sleeping, of course.
Of course, said the horse.
Yeah,
Sally, the shrine didn't disappear. It was vandalized. It's still there.
Why would I vandalize one of the town's landmarks and money
That's
makers?
what we
Exactly.
want to know.
he would.
You know how much people come by, they toss in a coin. Pure profit.
Yeah, so as I said, if there's one thing I know for sure, he would not endanger the profit of the town.
Now, are
Did
you
you
telling me
collect-
that you take the coins people
Yeah.
toss into the shrine? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
I step up with Zyzzyx as he's saying this and kind of like, yeah.
Part of it goes to the town, part of it goes to the church. We have an understanding.
That's kind of the way. That's always the way it's kind of been, guys. Let's not cause any problems that we don't need. And plus,
Well,
he
this time
looks,
Laura is okay with it.
and he
Yeah.
he looks stressed out enough as is, and
He notices the paper in your hand that you took from the quest board, and he goes, "I'll let you in on a little bit more. Most of the people don't know. That guy on the paper, he was a little well known. People were starting to get to know him. Been in town about a week, but there's been more disappearances. There's mostly guys just passing through. People don't notice they're gone.
Wouldn't they just be leaving then?
I believe what
Because-
they mean is it's like they probably left their things and they just disappeared.
Hmm.
I have sources in town tell me that they didn't just leave town. They maybe never left town. But
You have any
no
crime
one-
scenes we
no
can
one can find
investigate?
Sally, we could just investigate the whole shrine. Just satiate her appetite.
Right.
You're talking to Harbin. He said that, according to his sources, these people are actually going missing. But he's kind of keeping that part quiet.
Did you want us to look into it a little bit more?
He goes, don't know what he can do. They kind of disappear without a trace.
Where did they disappear?
We don't know.
Where did they disappear from?
He just points everywhere.
Where was the last
Houses they were
one disappeared from?
Houses they were staying at. Some were staying at the inn. Some were staying at the other inn. One of them was passed out in the orchid one day.
Where was the latest
Oh.
person to disappear? Where was the last time they were seen?
He says, I think they were staying at the Sleeping Giant Inn.
I think we should head out there.
I would agree with you there.
Yes.
Last time you were there, you had a big barroom fight.
Yes, it was.
That sounds about
But
right.
but as the sleeping giant, there's always a barroom fight there.
I put a American shrine right next to it.
He has a little kiosk.
Stay there. Yeah. But just to hurry along, you talk to the barmaid. and the keeper of the inn, and she says, as far as I knew, he was just passing through town. Thought he was going to stay a couple days more, but one night he just up and left.
Did he leave anything behind?
She goes, just a pair of socks, which is weird, but
Okay.
Can we see the pair of socks?
Why do you have them?
I threw those things out days ago.
Okay.
Oh.
Is that one collected your garbage from days ago?
She says, "You're free to look through the bins."
Right. Sally excuses herself to look through the bins.
Oh, okay. There she goes.
She's in the trash.
Yeah, I know. If anyone makes a, I'll say this: if anyone makes a "that's where she belongs" jokes, I will throw you in the trash.
That's right.
I don't think we're in danger of that.
Some people are proud to be little trash monsters. But you don't find anything of interest.
Aww.
Turn the music back on. I'll put on some battle music.
There's still bloodstains on the carpeting.
Why is the carpet with blood in the trash? And why is there a body rolled up in it without shoes? Or without socks. We're never gonna find those socks.
Listen, we cleaned up the bodies from the Phandalorians' last visit a long time ago.
I know that. Well, again, I would say I was sorry, but I mean, how many bar fights have happened since then?
Counts on her fingers.
Yeah.
And then she
Yeah.
counts again.
Yeah.
10, 15, 20. A lot.
As I said, not even a drop in the bucket.
Oh, but that was one. That was one to remember.
There was a song and dance routine.
Yeah, that's great.
True that not many bar fights have their own entertainment.
Summoned wolves. It was great.
Ooh.
She goes, yeah, a few of my patrons, though, big time Mora guys, pretty upset that the shrine got wrecked. Have you looked at it yet? If you're playing detective,
And we are trying our best to try and find out what's happened to it, but so far we're not getting.
Quick glance. We haven't looked directly at it.
Any insight you might care to give us?
it's probably the same as everyone told you. Is one morning, people woke up and it was kind of in shambles.
Any rumblings and grumblings from the underside, so to speak, of what might have happened?
Any rustling in the air?
Oh, are you judging my establishment? Are you? With a little smirk. And she goes, "Oh, I know."
I mean, you look like the kind of person who wouldn't. You know what's going on.
If you remember, she's like this tough-looking dwarf woman.
Yeah, you've been. You don't look like someone who would be easily offended by anything.
I try not to deal with too dangerous of folk, but trust me, none of people I know are responsible for that.
No one around here has had a sudden bout of extremely bad luck.
Past few days, ever since the shrine got destroyed, we've had fewer bar fights,
Huh.
which is very weird.
Yeah, that ain't.
Actually, it's bad for business because people buy
Yeah.
more after they
That's-
make up. You know, they
That's
save
No,
No,
they're-
that's
they spill their
that
drinks.
don't. Yeah, that
spill
don't.
some drinks and they buy more.
Yeah, that don't.
We haven't
Yeah,
had a
that.
bar fight in 3 days. There's a little sign that says 3 days since bar fights.
I just rear back in shock, like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah,
We've got to do something to fix that.
All right. Yeah, that.
Sally
I'm
immediately
almost-
walks up to a patron and knocks their drink over.
and there's a family in the corner, and this little boy goes, "Mommy, Daddy, when are we going to see a bar fight?" She goes, "I don't know, honey. I don't know."
It's part of our tourism.
Mommy. Yeah.
Oh no! Soon this place might become reputable.
No. I must. No. We must do something about this now. I grabbed the nearest. I grabbed the nearest. I grabbed the nearest drink and dump it over the guy's head.
He just goes, "Thank you, sir. Thank you." The boy goes, "This is the best birthday ever," and he takes a bottle and smashes it against the thing, and he and his sister begin mock fighting.
I go over to the sign and turn it back down to 0.
Would that really count as a fight?
We will take what we can get at this point.
And the waiter goes, "Oh,
This is
we'll
why
take
they
you to
call
the-"
you the Phandalorians, then.
And she goes, "Well, it looks like they need a refill on their drink."
As I said before, we are what we need to be. And in this case, we just needed to start a fight.
Should I start some more fights? I mean, there's someone over there in the corner. It looks like I could, probably get him fighting something.
If you fight any of these guys, you'll probably tear them in two.
Yeah, I was just, as I said, we were just getting the ball rolling. I think it will work out itself out. Again, I think once
Somebody immediately, as in the middle of him saying this, gets thrown onto the table right next to us, and another guy comes and tries to stab him with the end of a broken glass. I was like, oh, I see what you mean.
Yes, we were just starting the fire. It will burn quite nicely from here on out.
So I want to know
Alright,
if the barmaid remembers the missing person saying anything of interest or anything peculiar.
It's a different shop.
Yeah,
Peculiar.
says he just seemed like kind of a normal enough fella. Went to go work went at the 12-toe mine. 2-toe mine.
Well, that's new. That's new information, right?
Yeah, the other missing people, do you think they might have had a similar place of employ if they were coming in from out of town?
She goes, "Other missing people?"
Oh, might want to keep. I toss her a gold coin. Says might want to keep mum on that one.
She goes, "I'll keep an ear to the ground. But, you better get a move on her. There's a big party in her honor over at the more reputable,
Reputable.
Less
Reputable.
reputable.
place in town."
They have more bar fights over there.
Actually, no, they.
Thistle wouldn't stand for that.
Oh no! As I said, don't. It's a different sort of crowd.
Fair enough. We bid you good day, and to the gentleman over there that is currently winning the fight, good on you.
Right. Sun's starting to set. I think that feast could start any time now.
Indeed. I think it's finally time to head over to the Stonehill Inn.
I'm ready to start that feast.
Sally is looking forward to seeing the statue of her long lost big brother.
Yep. As you get close to the Stonehill Inn, you see the ruined shrine.
Hate to see that.
Let's go take a better look at it. We'll go investigate
Indeed.
it for reals.
People are lighting candles around it still.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Sally wishes
like
to
just look
investigate some
around
of
to
his bare
see,
feet.
to see if
I
there's
would
any
say-
bears' feet.
Sally wants to see if there's any bare feet, like tracks on the ground, because our missing person is missing socks.
I try to,
Bare feet. Oh, okay.
and I guess we just need. As I said, we all just kind of.
You find some like bare animal feet, but no, there's been so much foot traffic. You don't notice anything like that. But whoever wants to investigate the shrine, give me an investigation check.
I would like to investigate the shrine.
Solid 10.
No, I don't think I. I don't think Merc's gonna.
anything.
No, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna smell this.
Who knows? Could be a body.
Hey.
In there.
Taste it and
Hey,
say,
I rolled pretty high though.
So Sally, you take out a metal detector. Like your hand turns into a little metal detector and you start going around the shrine, like beep, beep, beep.
Well, the fake horse head, like I have it on a stick and I'm waving it over, and it's like it's neighing or making a horse noise instead of a beep.
It's like a dowsing rod, but
Yeah.
you start going, nay, 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 nay. And you move some rocks around, and you see a little silver pin.
Oh.
Would there happen to be the mark of Talos on this pin?
You look closer, and on the end of it, you do see 3 lightning bolts.
Ooh.
There we are.
Is it on the head? That's on the head of the pin, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a sewing
Oh.
pin, or is it like a pin you
badge,
like a
badge pin. Badge pin.
It's like
We found a
Get
clue.
handout. That means it's our third clue. Let's go to our thinking chair.
puts on dunce cap.
Is that a Blue's Clues reference?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, everybody is old, and even I was too old for Blue's Clues, but I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so you see silver pin, mark of Talos on it.
Were you gonna show us something?
Yes.
No.
Sally shows the pin to everyone.
But okay, that works. Talos, Talos, I hate these guys.
Okay. I guess while we were asking around, people would have told us if they had seen a group of half-orcs come into town. That probably would have been something people would have mentioned.
There's
No,
no
not-
guarantee all of their cultists are orcs.
Some of them are water monsters.
That's true.
Maybe the holy water inside the church got tainted and then they burst free.
This is Sally's ideas.
This is Sally's idea.
The summoner at the pier that wasn't an orc, right?
Yeah. I don't think so. Tiefling. Yeah, so that, I mean,
We could
it's,
go check the bot. Oh no, you did finally move the body last game.
yeah, yeah. The body has been destroyed.
It floated downriver.
As it gets darker, the lights in town start to light up, and the inn right next to you glows brightly. And you see Thistle at the front door, and he goes, "Everyone, it's starting! Come on, come on!"
I come on.
Follow.
The clues aren't going anywhere.
Sally puts the pin on her hat.
No, now it looks
No,
like
no,
you
no, no,
four
no,
go.
no, 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 no. Sally, I don't think you. No. Sally, these are bad. This is a pin that signifies that you would be a bad person.
Sally doesn't understand.
Okay, so you know, Sally, how there are some people that don't worship Lathander
Or
or
Corellian?
Corella,
She nods, yes.
and you know how those are not good people.
She just shakes her head no.
Oh,
Sally,
Okay, okay. Let me try this. Sally, these people would hurt. These people would hurt those that would love.
Oh, Sally doesn't like this pin anymore. She chucks it away.
no, we did. No,
I grab it. I grab it before it goes anywhere.
Oh no, we're
take.
just
like,
babysitters. It's great.
It's like I eat it. It's like she eats it.
We're gonna have to wait 3 days for that to come out.
Yeah. But
Just
coming to the town, the inn, it's just packed with people you know.
yeah, there's Murook and Lemon and Zyzzyx.
Imagine there's a lot more tokens on there. The various shop owners.
I don't think
And,
those
around
people
town.
down.
and there's a couple sheep.
But
Sally sees the
there's like,
Mindmen.
but there's like banners and like
I don't think these two people are supposed to
party
be there.
stuffs and balloons around the place, and everyone's just eating, having a good time. And Tobin goes, tonight it's all on the house. Honor of the Phandalorians being back in town.
Hooray!
Yay!
Everyone raises a glass. Just one drink, though. One drink. One drink on the house.
Give me
Nope.
the biggest, most expensive drink you have. I kid. Just pour me a little bit of something into my tea here.
I remember you, Mr. Zorsashi.
Yes, Mr.
Thanks so
Stonehill.
much.
It's glad to be nice to be back here in this cozy establishment.
This'll-
I actually got a
Oh.
a bottle of wine straight from Waterdeep.
Water Davian wine. I haven't been able to get there yet. I've been wondering how the authentic
It's good
wineries
vintage.
in Waterdeep
Good
are.
vintage. I'll give you a glass on the house.
Well, thank you. I will be sure to buy more throughout the night. Thank you.
You know what? You know what I want.
Ho ho ho!
Keep it
Those
PG.
are Only sell this stuff to the rock gnomes that come by town. He gives you a flagon of mushroom wine or toadstool wine.
I just chug it down, and well, let's see what happens.
Sally tugs on the shirt sleeve of the miner man.
He goes, well, look who it is. Look who it is. It's one of those little cowgirls.
She does a curtsy as best she can in her cowboy outfit, and then she holds up her sign that says, "Have you been missing any employees lately?"
He goes, well, that's very forward of you. But I see you with the Phandalorians over there. I don't know why I'm Southern. I'm not Southern. But, he goes, well, you know what? A couple of my miners have gone missing past week or so.
I believe that's called kidnapping.
He's got a hat and a beard, so he's southern.
I didn't do any of that. I run a... Did he retire, though? He might have retired. Let's say he unretired.
Mm.
He's like, yeah, we cleared out all those were-rats, and now the two-toe mines are back in business. Isn't that right, darling? And you see Big Al from Butterskull Ranch. He goes, well, that's right. Business been booming.
Mm-hmm.
He gives a little kiss on the cheek.
Ah, it's beautiful.
So not only did the Phandalorians here take down a dragon and save the town from utter destruction, as well as the surrounding towns, but they have also restored the economic viability of the region.
And I found
That's
the
a
love
lot
of my
of
life.
words.
They freed him from a bunch of rampaging orc that took over his Butterskull farm. I just haven't been the same ever since. Big Al goes, oh, there. I know you get emotional. But the Butterskull business has been booming.
Oh, do you have any Butterskulls on you?
He goes, I hid the ring in a Butterskull.
How romantic.
Sally asks Al if, since business is booming, has he been hiring on new helpers, and have said some of those helpers been going missing?
Well, ranch is a long ways away. Not many of them come to Phandalin except for deliveries, and they're all accounted for.
Mm.
But Don John here says few of their miners gone missing while visiting town.
Hmm.
Can you name them for me?
We didn't expect any foul play. He gives you a list, Bert and Black Onyx. They call him Black Onyx. He's a dwarf, so he has to have a stone-sounding name, so he called himself Black Onyx.
Did any of them have a penchant for leaving socks behind?
What you talking about, boy? Socks?
Yes.
Or girl? Sorry, you're Sally.
So, yes. Well, Sally does have a voice box. I don't pretend like I'm writing things down.
Yeah. He goes, should we be concerned about these missing people?
Absolutely not. It's just there's a pair of socks that are missing an owner, and we need to find out who's missing a pair. Which one of your workers is more likely to lose socks?
Well, I'll keep an eye out, I guess.
Sally gets fed up and just goes back to her big brother.
Dargon's here, throwing darts at the board.
He's throwing all those apples?
He's throwing actual darts at the board, but he's missing every one of them. They're not even hitting the board.
Yeah. Okay, something strange is going on.
Is that the apple?
He's
Is that the
crush
apple
my
fellow
luck.
over there? Oh, it's the luck man.
Throws one.
Oh.
He kind of digs off little man. And he goes, oh no, little man. Replica of little man. I miss you so much.
This man helped you take down a dragon?
He's had bitter days.
And he just starts crying.
Totally in character.
Yeah.
If he
Mr.
can't dart,
Stonehill, Mr. Stonehill, do you have any of that man's cider? Man's
cider.
brand cider?
Pulling out the good stuff, and he rolls out a flagon from the back. He goes, who wants cider?
Darts, cider.
Dargon goes, I want some cider. Want some cider? Yeah, I want some cider. Here, have some cider. Okay. Feeling better, buddy? Yeah.
I drank some of the cider.
I'll take some as well. How does it taste?
It's good. It's like that unique flavor that didn't work in apple form. Something happened, like Murook said, when it...
Like something about the
fermentation.
fermentation. Something about the fermentation process.
is the big fellow still wearing his dress?
Oh yeah, he's looking lovely.
Looking absolutely
Mr.
fabulous.
Mr. Dartagan, this is quite good cider, I should say. The mixing of flavors is unique, even to one who has had far travels as I've had. I
He
commend
sniffles
you.
and goes, thanks. I was pretty lucky, I guess. Find the right combination.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what was the combination? It has been bugging me all day.
He whispers in your ear. And you look revolted.
You know, they say never ask how the sausage is made.
Fresh, have a warm glass of milk, fresh from the teats of entry deleted.
He adds
Yes.
sausage to it.
I don't. I was making a making a comparison. No, it does not taste like sausage. I do not. Now that I know what the combination is, I will go ahead and give you this one warning. You don't want to know. I wish I didn't know, but now I know. So here I am telling you, you don't want to know.
Still so good.
But it's still good. That's the thing.
I cast Purify Food and Drink.
It just tastes like apple juice.
It turns into an actual apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work on this.
Sally asks her dad if he's noticed anyone missing, and if so, can he upload the said image to her brain directly so she knows who to look for?
He goes. He wasn't aware of anyone missing. Just assumed that there were passersby. But he does say there were some miners that I haven't seen in a little bit.
Were they staying in this inn or staying elsewhere?
He goes, there was this one miner by the name of Skeel that he's only seen during the night.
Can you spell that for me?
Skeel.
Eel.
Skeel.
Eel.
Skilled worker.
Yeah, his name was Argus Skeel. And saw him once when he came to town. Didn't see him for a few days. But then I saw him wandering around at night.
Oh.
Never during the day.
Do you know where Argus Skeel was staying?
I could have. He goes, no.
Aunt Thistle, do you know anyone named Argus Skeel?
She goes, yeah, he actually rents a room upstairs.
Is he there now?
You know what? Hardly see him. I don't think he's there.
Do you mind if we go take a look?
Well, he's a paying customer. I mean, do you have any reason to believe he's
There's a party going on down here.
There's a party going on.
Did you remember to give fresh linens this morning in his room? Feels like you might have forgotten.
No, well, may I? Thistle. I'm trying to think about how to say this.
Well, do they react to my thing, Joey?
What do you say about a linen, clean sheets?
I know. It sounds like. Did you sure you remembered to give him clean sheets and linens this morning before he after room service and whatnot? You forgot. Perhaps you could send up some people to replace them. Make sure everything's all right.
Gee,
And plus-
I don't know if I'm comfortable.
Lemon's going to
He's a paying guest.
Lemon's gonna step over. It's just, how about I volunteer to go up alone and invite him down to the party, and simply leave it at that. I guarantee that there will there'll most likely be less chance of something going wrong if it's not one of you, admittingly.
That's fair. The horns
Fair
do
enough.
scare people.
And also, you're not a face that
Well,
they would probably recognize.
Give me a persuasion check, Lemon. She goes, well, maybe if just one of you go up and tells you the room number. I don't think he's because he doesn't come to a party doesn't mean he's a bad guy. I don't even know if he's upstairs.
No.
Of course not.
We're not saying he's a bad guy. We're just,
I will be as cordial as possible, and if he declines, that's up to him, and I'll return back down either way.
You go upstairs, Lemon.
Yeah.
The room number and a key. I assume she gave you a key. You look inside. It looks like a completely normal room.
Is he inside?
It is empty.
Another missing person.
Well, we don't know that. He's alone right now.
Is there any personal belongings, or like it's been cleaned up?
You see some clothes, very neatly folded up neatly on the bed. Probably some few personal belongings scattered around the room.
Let's see. Okay. I'll go back downstairs and let them know that he wasn't in, but he still has some stuff left in his room.
One can only hope that he is okay.
As you're telling him that, and the night's winding down, you suddenly hear the door open behind you. And then quickly close.
Nobody coming in or out?
You look around, you don't see anybody.
Oh.
Knew I should have used that ability.
Zarashi, don't you have the ability to see invisible things, or?
I do. I mean, are we looking for something invisible, or are we looking for something that through solid objects, or what exactly do you want me to see?
Or maybe a specter afoot.
What? We just saw the door open, like somebody came in, and nobody didn't see anybody come in.
I will head over and just look around because I have blind sense out to 10 feet. So if something is invisible, I'll be able to see it. And I'll have detect magic up as well.
Give me a perception check.
With advantage because it's light-based. Didn't roll with advantage, let me roll again. Mm-hmm. Natural 20.
Yeah.
24.
Are you like looking through the walls, or What do you
Well, first we're just looking. I'm just looking around for anything that's invisible. As Murook was like, that was probably a specter. So I'm just walking around. If there's anything invisible within 10 feet, I should be able to sense it.
Oh, so you're
Or
looking
even
for
see
invisible things.
Yeah.
You look around the room, and you don't see any ghouls or specters anywhere.
Go into some of the doors. Look outside real quick.
Give me one more perception check.
I mean, you get-
At disadvantage,
Yes.
I have Eyes of the Eagle item, which gives me advantage on sight-based checks. Does that make it a flat roll then?
Do a flat roll then.
Okay, no. 11.
As Zorsashi is looking around, Sally goes to the stairway and just stands really awkwardly on the stairway, like just in case something walks past her. She wants to try to grab it.
Tobin kind of walks in from the back. Or Zorsashi, you don't notice anything outside. Tobin goes, "What's all the ruckus? Thought this is a party."
It's had an odd moment where the door opened and nothing came in.
In the wind, was it?
And no,
The door was closed. The wind doesn't open a door with locking mechanisms.
You know what? Probably that fellow Skeel.
Probably
He
that
doesn't
who?
like to come in here when it's crowded. He probably thought it was an off night. He probably didn't know there was a party going on.
I mean, there's lots of lights on. You can hear it. I'm going to detect magic and just look around the room, see if anything is giving off magical auras.
See the mushroom wine glowing brightly.
I could have told you that.
Sally has a bag of caltrops. She puts caltrops on the stairs.
No, people.
No,
can
no, no,
still-
no, no, no.
Okay.
Lemon picks them back up.
All right.
Like she puts one down and then she goes back into the bag and then Lemon picks it back up and then she puts another one down. Just does it 20 times until the bag's empty.
You see a glyph of smell remover on the stall door to the toilets.
I think that is greatly appreciated by everyone.
And besides whatever magical items you seem to be you're holding, you don't see anything inside.
Seems fine.
Yes. Oh, that's not good. Well,
He's I don't know. I think I heard Mr. Big Fellow talking about him earlier. He's a little bit of an odd fellow. Only time I see him is when he checks in at night, but I never see him in the morning. I guess he leaves early. But says he's a prospector.
How long's it been in town for?
Couple weeks. Surprised he hasn't found a more permanent place of residence, but you know, I'm not
Could you
complaining.
describe to me the color of his skin? Is it pale in complexion?
He goes, well, I can tell you he's a dwarf. You know, I've only seen him wearing like heavy clothes. Never got a good look at his face.
Does he smell of sunscreen?
oh, the slight scent of death.
He might have. You know, I'm not one to judge other cultures, but you know, most dwarves I know are people of the earth. Don't like to bathe a lot, but I would say he's a. No, he did have a bit of an odor around him.
Was it a familiar odor?
kind of remind me. He just kind of goes quiet. It kind of reminds me of the days the orcs attacked, and we had to bury some of the villagers, some of the townsfolk.
Hey, Thistle, could you toss me that room key for a second?
She was like, really, really tense.
And I'm
And
just,
like,
I'm,
not blinking, and then she hears her name and goes, "Huh? What?"
Thistle.
Yeah.
Toss me the room key for a second. I've got a really bad feeling.
Tobin nods. He goes, "Go ahead."
I
Sally
grabbed
is... Sorry, you go.
I grabbed the key and I walked past Sally.
I will join Murook as my ability to see things will probably come in handy.
And I go back up to the room. And I do something that I'm probably going to regret, and I take a big old whiff of the room.
I would say it's been disguised,
Oh, I smell something bad, but I don't know what it is.
but you hear this like pungent smell that like you sniff some of the sheets, and it's a hard smell to get rid of. It smells a little bit like death.
Yeah, that don't smell good, but I'm not. Yeah, that smells like death. I can tell you that much.
If it wasn't for your nose, a normal person might not have been able to smell that.
I'll go ahead and just do my detect magic and just look around the room there, see if I see anything.
Sally is suspicious of the days that Thistle had. Is there any way to roll something to see if it was a magically induced days, or if it's like a natural airheadedness days?
Oh, it looks like she was scared of the story you were telling. Like this might have been some sort of undead person staying at the inn.
Does my detect magic notice anything in the room?
You do not.
Magically clean, Murook.
I'm trying to think.
Well, let's say, yeah, you see a faint glimmer of magic, but not in like it's been used to mask something or to clean up something.
Does it feel like illusionary or transmutation rather than necromantic? So I'm not looking at like a dead body spell, but like
a transmutation, like maybe to hide the smell, like you said.
Magically clean, but not magically delicious.
Oh,
we haven't tested that out yet.
And I don't think I want to.
Oh, Zyzzyx.
I eat anything.
See what you taste on these sheets.
You guys are asking what you taste the sheets in a hotel room. That's gross. Even I have standards. No, thank you.
No,
you're a lizard man.
You're being a contrarian right now, Zyzzyx. You don't have standards, and you know it.
He's a lizard man. He's learned standards from us.
I learned it from watching you.
In any matter, what could it mean that he's hiding something? Well, maybe he shat the bed and was quite embarrassed.
While they're doing that, I'm outside, by the way.
Yeah. So he goes,
alone.
Listen, I trust you guys. If you think he's up to no good, maybe take a sweep around town.
Indeed.
I don't know.
I will say this:
we got that whole exorcism thing wrong that one time. But
while we're there, before we leave, I'm gonna do dispel magic on the magic that was detected in this area. Do we now have a terrible smell?
Yeah, as soon as you do that, you kind of get the smell of like there was a corpse sleeping here during the
Oh,
night.
Oh, well, that's not good.
oh.
He's been
Murook just
eating durians.
Murook leaves the room very quickly and no.
I got to the bottom of it, guys.
Oh,
Oh.
we got to the top of it. Let's. I'm gonna
I
go.
don't want to.
I'm gonna go in a room now that I think there's possibly a dead body somewhere, and start investigating it.
You don't find anything, but it seems like the bed, like the sheets on the bed, have that smell. You don't find any bodies anywhere.
Mm.
After a thorough search of the upstairs.
Yeah. All right.
Tobin,
Well,
Tobin, I think you're gonna have to burn the sheets.
Sorry.
Because that's probably a good idea. You don't think there's been a murder here, do you?
There's no blood or anything like that, and
I think our friend here might be, well, for lack of a better term, not quite alive, but still walking around.
Well, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it's not
when
good.
I went through the room, did I go? I wanted to also go through like his effects and things to see if there's any like clues or anything like that. I didn't like find like a pin or anything that matched those the symbols from those zombies we saw. Right?
Surprisingly little in the room.
A little. All right.
In fact, you find it's barely anything of his at all up there.
Packed light, or he left in a hurry. I'm gonna head outside, and I want to see if I can find any footprints that look fresh. The freshest footprints starting at the door.
I guess I go outside and I take another big whiff and see if I can, unfortunately, find that smell again.
You head outside. It's well into night now.
No, I can see.
Yeah. There's been a lot of foot traffic at night. People leaving, coming in.
I'm gonna give them bare feet.
No bare feet.
Hey, this is a grisly situation.
There's this one goat in the middle of the town square, just standing there going bah, ah.
God, he's turning into a zombie.
Is it a giant goat or a regular goat?
One of the giant goats.
Okay.
But you think you have a? Well, give me nature. What would it be? Investigation.
Tracking, particularly like footprints, would be survival.
Yeah, give me survival.
Good. Slightly better. Not that it'll help.
Oh, were you just asking Zorsashi? Okay.
I can't see anything. Zyzzyx, come help.
I see everything.
With your sense of smell, Zyzzyx, you can kind of pick up about if it was Skeel. You try to kind of follow his path if he left, and you see the path kind of leads you to kind of a faraway corner of the town.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a back lot. And the path kind of leads you there.
And then
near the back of the lot, you see a dwarf-sized figure. You see a bunch of other humanoids on the ground, picking apart what seems to be a body.
Well, that's not good.
And the dwarf turns around with red glowing eyes, and he speaks. He goes, "Well, it looks like you found me,
Oh,
And
is that
Merkel
the?
doesn't want you. Merkel doesn't want you alive. And the figures that were kind of eating the things on the ground turn around. These long, rancid tongues kind of droop from their mouths, and their faces are just covered with guts.
Ugh.
Ew. Sally
And
likes.
from behind you, similarly, much nicer voice goes, "Well, isn't that a coincidence? Because Talos doesn't want you alive either." And you see the red-haired elf, Vilreen, in her little army of kobolds at her side. "I believe you have something that belongs to me. And I
What
want
would
it
that
back.
be?
Oh,
Silver
bother.
pin." And the two kind of eye each other, looking back and forth at you and then the other cultist, and he goes, "Well, it looks like we have Mexican standoff."
What's
Mexico is.
Mexico?
Exactly.
We never heard the word
I couldn't think of
Mexico.
another-
Mexican.
I couldn't think of a D&D town.
No, I know.
And
We have a
the
standoff
kobolds
here.
raise their weapons. The ghouls get into a pouncing position, and we'll roll for initiative next time.
Yay.
Woo! Oh, I
Oh,
gotta kill
boy.
kobolds. My favorite.
Ugh.
I don't want to kill
I
kobolds.
I love no combat sessions sometimes.
Yep.
It's fun.
It'll be a lot more fun next time when we're surrounded by things that get advantage simply from being near each other.
Yeah.
Oh, guess who's got green flame blade?
Is Varican around in this fight? Did he go with this fireball? Anyone?
Dardigan's still crying in the corner.
Yeah.
Darn again.
Been a good time out there. And I'm just
I
here
could
doing
have probably hit three of those kobolds in one turn. But now I just got these apples. And a little worm comes out of one. And not even good enough for the worms.
Yep. So we'll do that next time.
Yay.
Alright. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Joey.
Yep.